Hey, what's going on everyone? Neil here from Busy Dad's Board Gaming, where I hope to help you connect face-to-face with family and friends through board games. If you're new here, please click that subscribe button and check below in the doobly-doo for any information pertaining to this video. Today, I'm going to teach you how to play MiniSteel. MiniSteel is a 2 to 4 player combat strategy card game that packs a big punch. It was designed by Brian Gremore and published by Gremore Games. This is a preview copy that was sent to me by the publisher that is set to hit Kickstarter on October 1st, 2020. So, if you want to get your hands on it, head on over to the campaign page and support this game in order to get it in your hands. Like, seriously, it fits right into the palm of your hand. It's that small. It's pretty awesome. So with that being said, let's dive right into the setup. As you can imagine, for a game this small, setup is incredibly quick and easy. To start, each player will begin the game with 10 hit points. These hit point tokens are used to keep track of your current hit points, so you can go ahead and grab 2 5s. At this point, you can also go ahead and separate the remaining tokens into stacks just to make life a little easier. It should look something like this. You'll have hit point tokens, poison tokens, as well as draw tokens, all of which will be explained shortly. Next, you'll roll the die that comes with the game, and for this particular roll, you're only focused on the number themselves. The highest roll is the first player, and in the case of 2 or more players tying for the highest roll, just keep re-rolling until there is only one player with the highest roll. Finally, each player draws 6 cards and 2 draw tokens. The game is broken down into a series of turns. Each turn consists of 3 steps. Step 1, take poison damage if applicable. Step 2, draw up to 6 cards if needed. And step 3, play heal, attack, equipable, combos, etc. A single turn of MiniSteel consists of 2 actions. However, you may forfeit one or both of those actions, discarding a card for each action that you have forfeited. But before we get into any of the cards and their effects, first I want to briefly talk about the tokens and how they affect the players. As mentioned before, these are hit point tokens, or HP as they are otherwise known. These are used to show other players how many hit points you have left. Next, we have poison tokens. Players lose a number of hit points equal to the number of poison tokens that they have in step 1 of their turn. So, if a player were to have 3 poison tokens, they would lose 3 hit points at the beginning of each of their turns. That being said, a player cannot be vanquished by poison damage, meaning they cannot be brought below 1 hit point when suffering poison damage. If I only had 1 hit point left and 3 poison tokens at the beginning of my turn, they would have no effect. On the flip side, if a player were to ever acquire 5 poison tokens, they are immediately vanquished and removed from the game. Here we have draw tokens. These tokens allow you to draw 3 cards from the deck and add them to your hand. They do not count as actions and therefore can be used as many times in a turn as you want, so long as you have the tokens to spend. There is no hand limit in MiniSteel. However, during step 2 of your turn, if you already have 6 or more cards in your hand, you would not be able to draw any more unless you have the satchel, which I'll talk about shortly. Finally, we have the multi-purpose die. As you saw, this helps determine the start player, but it also is used for several cards in the game as well. And speaking of cards, let's go over the types of cards you'll see throughout play, as well as their abilities. As I mentioned before, on your turn you can play up to 2 actions. Playing a card counts as 1 action. However, there are combos that I'll speak to at the end, which use 2 cards paired together as one action to perform stronger attacks. The first type of card we're going to talk about are attack cards. You have the following options for attack cards: dagger, hatchet, sword, fire shot, and scythe. For dagger, it allows you to attack for 1 damage, a hatchet allows you to attack for 2 damage, a sword allows you to attack for 3 damage, fire shot allows you to attack for 2 damage and destroy 2 cards at random from a single opponent. Cards are only destroyed if damage is inflicted, so if the damage is blocked, you don't get to destroy the cards. And finally, scythe, attack your opponent or opponents for 1 damage each and take 1 card at random from each. From there, you'll add 1 card to your hand and discard the rest. This is unblockable. Next, we have potion cards, beginning with the actual potion, which allows you to gain 2 HP and draw 1 card. So we have Remedy, which blocks a poison attempt or remove 1 poison token at the start of your turn. And lastly, we have the actual poison. Place a poison token on an opponent. While poisoned, players must remove 1 hit point per poison token immediately at the start of every one of their turns. However, as I mentioned earlier with poison, you can't be vanquished by poison damage alone, but if at any point you would take a 5th poison token, you are immediately vanquished. You also have utility cards that you can play, such as a magnifying glass, which allows you to roll the die and draw a number of cards from the top of the deck equal to the roll. You'll then add 1 to your hand and discard the rest. Hook rope allows you to steal a card at random from an opponent of your choice, or remove and keep an opponent's shield if they attempt to defend. This card is unblockable. Next, we have the swap rope, which allows you to swap hands with an opponent of your choice, which is also unblockable. And finally, the trip rope, which allows you to play against an opponent in order to skip their turn. This one is also unblockable. Of course, with a game like this, you have to have equipable items. Something a little extra to beef up that damage and defense a little bit. There are spiked gloves, which when equipped allows you to gain +1 for all attack cards. Armor, which when equipped allows you to gain +1 for all shield cards and counts as 1 defense against incoming attacks. And finally, the satchel, which once equipped allows you to gain the ability to draw an extra card at the start of your turn. Carrying on, we have defense and multi-purpose cards. For defense, there are wooden shields, which allow you to block 1 damage from any physical attack, unless that attack is unblockable, and a steel shield, which allows you to block 2 damage from any physical attack, again, unless that attack is unblockable. It is up to you to use as many or as few shields as you'd like in order to block or allow damage. And for multi-purpose cards, there are bladed shields, which allows you to choose to either attack on your turn or defend when attacked. You roll the die to determine the attack or defense value. So in this case, would be 3. As for the fate cards, you select who to use the fate card on and then roll the die to determine if your opponent is attacked, poisoned, or healed. So in this case, they would be attacked. In this case, poisoned and healed. And finally, there are light cards and dark cards, which I'm sure based on the color, you'll be able to tell which is which. First, for the light cards, we have Confusion Dust. This allows you to deflect an attack back onto an opponent equal to the attack's value, including any combo attacks. This card is unblockable and is ineffective against other unblockable attacks. Next, you have the Revive Scepter. Upon death, you revive yourself by rolling the die and then setting your hit point to the value of the roll. So in this case, a 4. Discard all your cards and tokens, then draw 6 new cards and acquire 1 new draw token. For the dark cards, we have the Plague Skull, which gives all players 1 poison token, including yourself, and is, of course, unblockable. and the Doom Dragon, which allows you to destroy 2 cards at random from every opponent. The opponent to your left also destroys 2 of your own cards, so use it wisely. And there you have it. Those are all the cards in the game. But that is not all. The last thing I want to touch on are combos. The different combos that you'll be able to use are as follows. Dagger, dagger equals an attack of 3. Dagger, poison equals an attack of 2 and a poison. Scythe and poison equals an attack of 2 to each opponent plus a poison to each of them. As well, you get to steal 1 card from each, keeping 1 and discarding the rest. Hatchet and poison equals an attack of 3 plus a poison. Sword and poison equals an attack of 4 as well as a poison. Potion and remedy allows you to heal 3, cure a poison, as well as draw a card. 2 potions allows you to heal 5 and draw 2 cards. And finally, 2 remedies allows you to remove all poison tokens from yourself. And there you have it. That is MiniSteel in a nutshell. If you have any comments or questions, feel free to drop them in the comments section below. If you've gotten any value from this video, please consider liking and subscribing, as it goes a long way in helping the channel grow. Lastly, details for the Kickstarter campaign for MiniSteel, as well as my Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter can all be found in the description below. As always, thanks for watching and happy gaming.